this one here, and so on. And you can teach conversion and so on. There are many possibilities. And
awesome.
Here are some phrasal verbs related to cooking, vocabulary, cooking instructions. Very nice links, okay?
And you're going to share this document with us. This is fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
There is one part which has already been shared with you, the links. I couldn't just share the Gustavo's pictures. Maybe Gustavo can send to you, Heike.
And can I ask, is Gustavo also an English teacher as well?
Yeah, I put the English and cooking together. I had an experience abroad in Canada where I use it to teach people how to cook, and all of it in English. So we teach every step of it on this kind of stuff that we like to do, like doing the recipe from the scratch.
Amazing. Can't wait. Honestly, can't wait. Let me just kick this off. I started the recording already. And may I say that we're delighted to see Luiz Reikdal. Is that pronounced correctly, Reikdal?
Yeah, this is Icelandic. Reikdal.
Reikdal, okay.
Reikdal.
And Gustavo Maciel. And both of us will be giving us a workshop and giving us idea how to teach culinary and basic to enrich your ELT techniques. And Luiz Reikdal has been performing in the ELT world since 1994, and he's graduated in the theater education in 2008 at the Faculdade de Artes do Paraná. Recently he's been, don't correct my English, recently he's been developing with Carlos Reisman Essential English for Chefs, a program for chefs without borders. And on Instagram you will see a lot of food by Reikdal, Luiz in one word. And Gustavo Maciel graduated in culinary school in 2014 and continues to grow his passion for teaching and cooking and the use of creativity to introduce new food experiences. He brings the techniques and knowledge acquired from his recent trip to Toronto, Canada, where he worked in Kirillo's Culinary Academy. Oh, what a privilege. Without further ado, over to you. I'll just be using voice now, and it's all yours.
Well, Gus, good work. Let's get started, man. and if you want to be on and make some comments, feel free, okay?
Yep, I will be reading the comments to you.
Okay,
shouting
perfect.
them out.
So, let me show you something here that I have been already doing. Here, I am heating some water already to make some rice. What do we need? We're going to cook 2 cups of rice here. Okay, so I use this one here to measure. Okay, like 1 cup, 2 cups. And for each cup of rice, we're going to add 2 cups of water and a little bit more, because the water, when you're making rice, it is going to evaporate. So the water has been prepared. Let's go to the pan. I have 20 minutes, so I have to be really, really, really fast. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So here I am heating the pan. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
I never guessed that I could look into the pot of a Brazilian chef, but this, this is so hilarious.
So, this is the best way of teaching English because the students really like cooking. So I'm gonna add here 2 tablespoons. It's a lot of oil, but no problem, because this is going to be used to create a capsule around the grain. Let's just heat a little bit. And I have already prepared here. Let me show you. Some onions. I'm not going to do any cutting because just we have short time. Okay. The water is boiling. And let's get down to business. Okay, then I'm adding half onion, and I chopped the onion here. It smells really good. All right.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
You saute the onion a little bit just to make it softer. And then I'm going to add the rice. We are going to put it in here. I think you can see in the camera, right?
Yes, we see everything.
Okay, perfect.
You
So
tested this before because the camera position is just perfect. How do you hold it?
Oh, I'll show you the gimmick later on.
Oh, yes, please. Because the water is boiling just underneath us and it's not steaming up for some reason. That's really clever.
Yeah. Okay, here. All right. Gonna turn it up. And then, okay.
The question is, have you ever cooked whilst giving an English class as well?
All right, I'm gonna add water.
You do the boiling water on here.
Yeah,
I would have thrown the rice in the boiling water.
Okay, so boiling water is super important in this process. And I'm gonna add
very different.
Teaspoon of salt. Something like this. You have to level. And then stir a little bit. And this is it. We're gonna cook on here. Medium fire, not so high. And then the water will cook. Remember, you cannot add cold water in here because this is not going to be okay. So I'm just getting a little bit lower. All right, let's just make the beans. It's funny to cook for a camera. I mean, this way. All right, we're going to make beans now. Let me show you what I did. This phase here is super important. You have to wash the beans, like 2 cups of beans. All right, this is a 500 gram jar. All right.
Yeah.
Just put it down.
I'm just messaging a friend. I said, you must see this.
2 cups of beans, and then I added 4 cups of water. So this soaking is really important because it's going to reduce the time of cooking by 1/3. Okay. This is the pressure cook that we use here in Brazil. Let me show you on the other video for you to see. All right, rice is cooking. This is the pan. Now I'm going to rinse. Actually, I'm going to drain the grains that have been in the water for 12 hours. It's important to do it twice at least, because then if you re-soak, you can throw the toxins away.
And the question is, do Brazilians eat beans like daily or weekly, or?
How often we consume them here in Brazil?
Yeah.
Oh, almost every day.
Wow. And where does that come from, that facet, you know, because no other nation that I know of is so keen on
Mexico, I
beans.
guess, also uses. So I'm gonna put the beans here. And now, remember that I have 2 cups of, that I have done this one. And I'll add 3 cups of water for each cup. So how many cups?
3 cups for each
Of,
cup.
yes, for each cup. So I'm going to add 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Well, first with 5, you were at 4. Missed out on the 5.
Okay. And then I'm going to add, for each cup of beans, I'm going to add bay leaf, 1, 2 leaves. Rice is cooking. Let me show you here how the rice is cooking.
And is there some tradition that you actually cook together in Brazil? Like you get friends together in the kitchen?
Definitely, we do this a lot. We barbecue here a lot as well. So here, to see if when the water evaporates, it means that maybe we might need to add a little bit more. Just let me see. It's a little bit hard yet. I might add a little bit of water because this is evaporating too fast. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I lose the sound.
Okay. So beans, I'm gonna close here, and this is it. I'm gonna pretend that I'm going to cook this for 10 minutes after there is pressure here. It releases steam. We're going to cook for 10 minutes. I guess it's the same with the Instant Pot. Okay? The Instant Pot is the same thing, and you have to do the same thing. You're going to leave it for about 10 minutes as well. So if you hydrate, if you soak the beans, the process is gonna be really, really, really fast. Okay. So beans.
Just to let you know, there are 14 people listening on the live stream.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. And now I'm gonna put it max, yes. It is going to make a fuss. This is really, really, how do you say, when there is a lot of fuzz here, a lot of mass, the sound, water. Okay. Rice is cooking. Let me show you. Well, let me do it slower. We can see here that let me change the, okay.
Oh, that is magic. How do you do that?
Oh, 2 cameras.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing all by myself here, so I have nobody to hold the camera for me, so I had to improvise everything. Okay.
And how far apart do you and Gustavo live?
Gustavo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So talk to her, man.
So we both live in the same city here in Brazil. I have never met Luiz in person. We always talk through, because all of this time we're passing through it's the only way we got to know each other is through WhatsApp and messages. So I'm not sure exactly how far are we from each other, but we live in the same city.
Wow. So you've known each other only in the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
And through which, I mean, was it your cooking school or language school, or how do you know each other? Like
It's
just
because of Chefs Sin Fronteiras, Chefs Without Borders.
Tell us, Gustavo, whilst I mean, he has to concentrate on the food, Luis has, and
Let me see
maybe
how long I
if
have.
you could tell us a little bit more about these Chefs Without Borders.
Well, this is a project that Carlos usually takes his students, gastronomy students from out of Brazil to study in the United States, in Canada, in New Zealand, English-speaking countries. So, and then I am the teacher responsible to prepare these students. We are creating, this project has just been created. So we're about to have students studying with us, and they're going to study culinary, a specific program for students of gastronomy students, cooks, chefs, and so on.
And can I ask you, just in that very, very specific field, is there teaching material around?
Yes, there is. It's called Career Paths, and there is another one called Flash On Cooking ESP, English for Specific Purposes. I can maybe write later on. So we're just waiting for the beans to cook. And how do we prepare the beans here? Let me prepare the second part of it, because I'm not going to have time to cook. So let's suppose that we are pretending I get some beans from the pot here. Can you hear the crackling here?
No, we can't.
From the rice?
No.
Wow, it seems that the water is over, and let me try a little bit. A little bit better.
And does that rice smell really nicely?
Delicious. This is not fair, right? Cooking class. Okay. So here, what am I going to do? I'm going to add olive oil a little bit. Okay.
So you were at one time you were both chefs, and then you decided to retrain as English teachers. Is that like that?
I've been a teacher for 26 years, so cooking came later on.
Wow.
So I've been cooking for about 3-4 years. Recently, I even worked in restaurants as a cook.
Yeah,
but I've always taught. Gus,
but do you have to have an apprenticeship or something in Brazil?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay. Now I'm taking care of the dish here. I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic.
Oh, I can smell that already.
Delicious. And a little bit of seasoning that my sister made, paprika, which is amazing. This is really, really, really good. This is a very simple seasoning. You can add bacon if you want. Gustavo, how do you make feijão?
So what I do, it's similar to what he does. I usually put black beans, not white. I rather eat those. And I keep it under water for 24 hours. And so it releases a lot of the gas it has on it. It cleans a lot the beans. And every kind of 8 to 12 hours, I change this water. So after this, I put on the same kind of pan that he's using. and I keep there under pressure for kind of 25 to 30 minutes. And then
Wow.
it gets the very good texture you want with your beans. And this is what he's doing to put the beans on the onions. It's what we do. So you make the sauce a little bit thicker, and then it gives you what you want from a very good beans and rice.
A creamy texture.
And yeah, you're saying that this technique actually takes away the what beans do. They sometimes produce some gas. Yeah.
This is true. We rinse. I mean, we soak because of this to reduce cooking time and to eliminate toxins. So this is a very good way of preventing gases.
Well, I'll have to try it out then.
You, after cooking, you can add, let me see how much time I have. Gus, how am I doing?
Oh, you're doing great. Let me see, how long have you been there?
We started at the top of the hour and it's 24 minutes now.
Okay.
So I'm about to finish here.
Wow, that is amazing.
Okay. So then I put the rest of the beans. Give a stir. You might cook for 10-15 minutes just to let the other ingredients incorporate. The color changes a little bit. Look at the yellow color here. It's just beautiful. And it's delicious. Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Usually, this beans that I have used before has already been salted. So I'm just going to add a little bit. Right. You see the pressure cook hasn't started yet. You're going to count when it starts releasing steam. 10 minutes in this kind of pan. So look, the texture is really creamy.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Look, it's delicious. You should try.
Perfect.
Okay, so beans is ready, rice is ready, and I'm gonna show you this.
And now, I mean, how to eat it? That's it. Oh yes, that's it. Oh, this is adorable.
Right. So you may decorate. You may have some salad. You may have some meat, whatever you feel like having. French fries. It's delicious. This is super simple. We actually, this is just the basics.
Yeah.
We eat with something else. Okay, there is some bacon here. I put some sage. And this is from Germany. This seasoning here that I put on. Called, I forgot the name. Dill, I think. I don't know in German.
Okay,
dill. Man, I leave that to you.
Okay.
Bravo! we have to open everyone's mic to give you a round of applause.
Okay, that's very good.
Wow, this is amazing. That is amazing. And it looks delicious. What a treat.
Thank you so much. Goodbye. I'll be here, but with my microphone mute and my video off, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Can you see me?
I can see you and I hear you very well, Gustavo.
Okay. So I'm going to have some help here to show you every step of it. So I'm just turning the camera so you can see it. Okay. Let me see.
Nice.
Okay. Now
Now you have a helper who's your cameraman.
Oh, so my girlfriend's helping me here. So
Lovely. And what's her name? May I ask?
Yes, sure. You want to tell them your name?
It's Melissa.
Melissa, lovely to hear you. Thank you so much for being a cameraman.
So,
by the way, this is being live streamed on YouTube, yeah, and it's in Zoom and it's live streamed and everything else. So the audience is yours.
Okay, thank you. So what we're going to do is prepare some brigadeiro. During this video, I'm showing you the process for a variation of it that we like to eat with coffee. But on the material that we prepared, I'm going to show, there is the regular recipe, the classic one that doesn't go any coffee or anything else, just chocolate and condensed milk. And there is another variation there. There is the Brigadeiro de Caipirinha. So we have two very good Brazilian things on it. So let's start. What we're going to do first, we're going to have a good pan that you have at home, like the ones that is not going to stick on it, because you're going to stir a lot and you don't want it to stick or burn it. So first of all, we're going to add some condensed milk. What I have here, 395 grams of condensed milk, but I have all the measures on the material that we prepare. So with the pan off, not on heat yet, we're going to add this condensed milk. After this, we're going to put a tablespoon of butter here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me grab
to be honest, in Germany, you would never get such thick condensed milk. Is that sort of the regular one in Brazil?
Yeah, this is the regular one, but you don't need to worry because after you start cooking, it's going to get thicker.
Okay.
The ones you have at the supermarket, grocery stores, it's just fine. So I just added a tablespoon of butter, and we're going to add also dark chocolate. Here I'm going to put a cup of dark chocolate. Okay, so I have these small pieces chocolate here that we can find in the stores, but you can have all kinds of dark chocolate. It's just to give the chocolate flavor, and we don't want it too sweet. We want to enjoy it.
Is the butter unsalted?
Yes, this butter is salted, so the salt is going to give a very good, it's going to give this sugar a help, like the flavor is going to taste better. So you want to use a salted butter. And at last, we're going to add the coffee. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of coffee. It's instant coffee. The ones
instant
you
coffee.
have.
Instant
Yes.
coffee. Ah, okay.
So at this time, we're using this one. But for example, after you try it, if you want to try another one, like another recipe after, you can try with espresso on it, on the instead of the instant coffee, because the coffee is just to give the flavor. But if you are a really fan of coffee, this is what you want. Okay, so
I have 3. Yes, please.
So
man.
to prepare it and cook it, we're going to use low heat because we don't want it to burn, and it's very fast, so you don't need to hurry. So you just basically mix everything here, and it's going to start getting the color and the flavors out. At this point, I already smell the coffee. It's very good.
Oh,
Here in Brazil,
we smell it as well.
Amazing to see you cooking.
Yeah.
Pathfinder said it's mirror neurons. I can smell the chocolate, honestly.
Oh, amazing.
So
I'm having a lot of fun.
what is happening here is that we don't need to worry about putting the chocolate like in pieces in here, because he's going to melt with the recipe happening. Then also what is important to say is that you need to keep stirring it, because you don't want it to stick in any place. So you're going to stir on the edges, in the middle of it, because we want to mix everything up. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here with this recipe, we have two ways to eat brigadeiro, basically. So it's a very fast and easy recipe to prepare. So what I like to do sometimes, it's when it's very chilly and you want to stay at home under your on your sofa watching some movies and series, you can start preparing it. And then there is a point where you take it out of the heat, you stop cooking before the actual and the classic point of the dough, because you can eat it with a spoon. So we call it here a spoon brigadeiro.
Oh.
Brigadeiro de colher.
And this is actually a dish that is done at home in regular people's kitchens. And it's not something like a bakery or conditorei or something like praline, that sort of thing?
No, it's very basic and simple. Of course, here in Brazil, you can go to a bakery store, a dessert store, and find every kind of brigadeiro. We have a lot of variations. You can add a lot of things on it. And so, for example, this is the point you can already take off if you want to eat with a spoon. So you're going to put your spatula here, and when you drag it, you see a little bit of the bottom of it. Okay, can you see there?
Yes, we can see it, yeah.
So this is where you take off, and you can put in a small plate or something like that, or you can keep on the pan and eat from it, but it's very good. It's like it's the dessert we always have when we are.
I mean, for how many
life.
people would that be? Just for you and Melissa, or?
No, this one I think we can eat in like 4 or 5 people. Very good, and it's going to have a little bit for after, you know, because it's not. It's a lot of brigadeiro. We can.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
If we want in the classic way, we're going to keep cooking, and then we're going to shape it after. So this recipe, one of these recipes, we can make around 30 brigadeiros in the classic shape. So 30 brigadeiros of 22 grams or 0.7 ounces. This is the measure of one classic one.
I see. And who's ever invented Brigadeiro?
Yes. So we're going to keep stirring it until it gets thicker. And at some point, you're going to see that's going to start to boil a little bit. Always keeping
and a question again, whoever invented Brigadeiro? Is there a story around it? Or?
There must be. I have never heard of it. How about you, Gustavo?
So it's not a certain person, because there's a lot of stories about it. And as it's a very famous dessert, everyone wants to be the inventor of it. So it's very hard to tell. But I'm very sure that the person who did it, it's for sure a very good person, because there's no mistakes on it.
It's simple. I think to my taste, it's a little bit sweet. That's why we add some kind of bitterness to it.
Mm-hmm.
in order to make it more palatable, more delicious, and less sweet.
Less sweet, right?
Because the traditional ones, in my opinion, they are too sweet. Even for me, I'm a Brazilian, and it's difficult for me to eat regular brigadeiro.
And can I ask something about, well, it's a bit personal question. Who is the cook in your home?
Okay. So when I used it to live with my parents, the cook was my dad. Now that I live by myself, I am the cook and I have no option. But Melissa likes a lot to cook too. So we usually do rounds, you know. Sometimes I cook, sometimes she cooks, but it's not a rule.
And can you cook together?
Yeah, we can. We usually do it. We help a lot. We help each other a lot.
Okay. I thought there's this, oh no, you should do it like this, or no, you should do it like that.
No, we always set who's the chef at the night. So
the chef of the night.
Just follow the
yeah, good one.
So as we're getting close to what we want for a classic one, you're going to see that it starts to lose from the bottom. You can see the bottom. It's not yet ready. We're almost there, but we already have some bubbles coming up. And
the color changed, and there's really a shine on it now. Of suddenly.
Yeah, this shine is because of the fat that we have on the chocolate, on the butter, that gives this very good looking thing.
And it's delicious.
Oh my goodness, I'm melting away here, honestly. I'm almost with a spoon in this pot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I usually have less than this at the end of the recipe because I keep eating during the preparation. So here.
So is that so because everybody's because the world is watching you, that's why you behave.
So here I'm going to turn the heat off because it's already done, but I'm going to show you how to see if it's the right point of the dough. So we're going to see. I'm going to turn a little bit the pan, and you're going to see that it falls off. It almost flips.
Okay.
So you see that the bottom releases itself. So this is what you want. Okay.
Right.
So after you do this, you already have the point where you're going to shape it. So you turn the heat off, and then you're going to have a plate like this one, where you're going to put it to cool it down and sit until it cools down, and you can shape it. So what we're going to do, we're going to put some butter on it so it doesn't stick. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of butter here. So you can do it with small brush.
You know, it's interesting. Oh, yeah. Now I was just thinking about there's many stories on television at the moment of really famous people. Now, do you know any of the famous, like Tim Melzer, or I mean these world? I'm not sure whether that's just Germany renowned. I don't know. What is a famous cook out there?
We have some famous cooks here in Brazil. Usually, when they start, when they get famous, they go for TV shows like MasterChef, and so we have some here that I actually like a lot. Watching very rough and raw cooking, like very things that you prepare at home, So there is a chef that I really like that it's called Felipe Bronze. He has a TV show and he cooks like all like barbecue style, and this is something that I really like to watch.
Oh, lovely.
Bronze is really cool. I love it. I like Rita Lobo on GNT. Panelinha.
Yeah.
And you know what has been a little bit of a fad here in Europe has been the street food festivals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but in our circles, like it's only like outdoors is not so, and street food festivals are these it's just it's still a little bit of a new trend sort of thing, but they're springing up everywhere now, and I think it's wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's eating. It's always good, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you know, I have a friend, and he said to me once when we met in Paris, he said to me, I would like to go to a street food festival in Paris. Yeah, because he's a fan of street food. And I said, well, you're the wrong place. In Paris, there's no street food. Come on, it's the hot cuisine of really like 7 kind of meals and dishes. There's no street food. Guess what? And I was looking around. I was Googling. I was street food, and it led me nowhere. Honestly, not even the word exists in Paris. And then I happened to be passing a market, a Thursday morning market. And guess what? You had oysters, you had the most delicious of all cheeses, you had barbecued chicken, you had vegetables galore. It was like the culinary market of all times. I've never seen anything like it. And I thought, is this the street food that the Paris people love? And there were heaps of people eating oyster, and you know, it was fantastic. It was just brilliant. So
yeah, that's
markets.
incredible. Like having all that kind of foods in one place on the streets, right? And here in Curitiba, where we live, there is some night fairs where a lot of people goes to sell their specialties, and there is food from around the world. There is Polish food, there is Greek food, there's a lot of options of hamburgers, and we have a lot of this here too.
Oh wow. Fantastic.
So for the brigadeiro, so we put some butter on the plate, and then we're going to put all the dough on it. And then you let it cool on in your fridge. You want it to get very very cold, because you're going to shape with your hands. We're not going to use anything else. So you put there, and you're going to let it sit for some time.
Oh wow, this is just so delicious.
Rest of it, you lick.
Yeah, the rest
From
of
the
it
spatula.
for after. So here, what we usually do, we put plastic wrap on it, because we wanted to keep the brigadeiro safe. Okay. So we just put some wrap on it, because sometimes the fridge releases the flavors of the other things you have in there, and we don't want it to change the flavor of the brigadeiro.
We call this cross contamination. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
Oh, we're just getting a view of the final product here.
Oh, it's adorable.
Oh no, honestly.
This is really professional stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
So
man.
what we have here is when you want to eat with a spoon. So it's going to have a little bit mushy texture that we want to eat it. Okay. This is that first point I told you when I was preparing. This one is the classic one. So here we don't have coffee on it, and we put these sprinkles around it. We usually have a plate like this. We put a small ball on it and make it all full of this sprinkle. This second one is the caipirinha one. So what we have in here, so what we have in this recipe we have the butter, we have some you can use also both vodka or rum. It depends on what you like to drink. The condensed milk and lime juice. But what is important, you're not going to put everything together to make this one, because we want to keep some things, we want to keep the alcohol a little bit because we want the taste of the caipirinha, and we are going to put the lime juice only after, because we don't want to change the recipe itself. Because if you add the lime juice in the beginning, it's not going to sit well and it's not going to give you the texture you want. So you basically start with the condensed milk, butter, and lime zest on it. Then you cook until the point where you can shape it, but you take out of the heat. You add the drink you're using, either vodka or rum.
Actually, here in Brazil, we use cachaça.
Yeah.
That's what we're used to drinking here in Brazil. It's the typical caipirinha here.
Wow. And do you still taste the alcohol when you actually eat it?
Yeah, that's why we add only after, because you take out of the heat, put this, mix a lot to look like a very homogeneous dough, and then you put a little bit on the heat again, so it gives the point you wanted to shape it, and then you do the small ball. Because the point is, if you don't have the alcohol here, it's going to be just a lime brigadeiro, and if you have just this touch of alcohol on it, it's going to taste exactly like caipirinha.
It's the twist.
Isn't it, Gustavo, that you went to Canada? Was that you or was it Luis?
No, it was me. I went to Canada on 2018. And there I had the opportunity to work with a former chef from the Hilton's Hotel company. And I had the opportunity to learn a lot of things and also teach a lot of people. We had kind of a Master Chef competition every day. We had an event there. And what happened is that we had kind of 30 minutes to make a 3-course meal, and everyone went crazy because usually they don't cook every day at home. So it was very fun and very, I really like it, doing it.
You got your training with the 30 minutes. Because now you've had only 30 minutes.
Okay, this one is the coffee one, and we put some cocoa powder around it. And what you're going to do to prepare these shapes is that you put some butter on your hand, because you wanted to use the hands to make the shape. Then you have a teaspoon that you're going to grab some of the dough. So this is the measure we usually use. So you put on your hand, and you use the palm of your hands to shape it. You use like this. You make it as round as possible. It's going to look like this.
Wow.
And then you put on the sprinkles or what you rather use to put around it. you mix a little bit. And we use this here in Brazil to put when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like that one.
Wow, bravo. Big round of applause, everyone.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It was amazing.
Brigadeiro. We will remember that name. Brigadeiro.
Brigadeiro.
Brigadeiro. Say it again.
Brigadeiro. Do not forget about it.
Say it again.
Brigadeiro.
Brigadeiro.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
that's beautiful. Beautiful pronunciation.
Oh, that is lovely. Absolute gorgeous. Thank you so much, Gustavo. Thank you so much, Luis.
It was amazing watching him.
And now the trouble is you have to have a double portion to eat now, Gustavo.
Yeah,
because the
I'm
one
going
that
to
was in the
prepare some more.
fridge and the one you did for us.
Which effort I need to go. Okay, bye-bye.
And when you teach English to these chefs who will be eventually traveling abroad, are the classes going on? Do you teach online or?
They are about to begin. They haven't started yet. Probably in June.
In June. Do you think you will do them locally, or will you do the teaching online bit, or what do you think?
No, we'll do them locally, online. Online training, online sessions. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. And what do you think? Will it be for them difficult to, or is it just like any other theory course that they're doing, or what?
I think because they're cooks, they're interested in the subject already, so they might be really fast learners, depending on how it happens.
So a lot of the vocabulary is the recipe type of I do this, this. Descriptions that you don't normally say because you just do it, right? And
all this course in this teaching, it's going to be very, very specific for the area they're going to be practicing back there in USA. So they're going, the main thing is that they need to do it fast, so they get there faster and they can start working and have this opportunity on working in very good hotels and places that the company is giving them the opportunity.
The aim is to pursue like A2 level, B1, like a pre-intermediate.
And do they have to do tests? Like in Canada, as far as I know, they have to have an exam before they go, no?
Well, they're going to have a kind of a training session with us. I'm not sure the test. They're going to have an interview, actually. An interview.
Okay.
Yeah. To work that in USA, we have to have the agreement with the hotel or the restaurant that are going to receive them. And each place has their own ways of testing the people. So they can ask, for example, a knife skills video or something like that. But every place can be different, but basically they have these steps. They have to be prepared both in English and also in cooking skills.
And what do you think is the hardest for them to learn?
Maybe you mean cooking or English?
English, oh, maybe, I don't.
I think the very beginning is just like anything. When you start a project, like learning how to play the guitar, it's going to be very difficult at the beginning. But
yeah, I think, for example, when I went to Canada, at that point, I knew how to speak English, but I wasn't used to cook in English. So every kind of spicy and ingredient I knew, but I knew in Portuguese. So everything I had to learn again. And there are some similarities in a few ingredients, but most of it are different, and you need to learn everything again.
And would you also be able to somehow prepare them for the culture shock?
course. Can you repeat the question? There was a cut.
Yeah, would you be able to prepare them somehow for the cultural shock of being abroad? I mean, cooks are very international, so you're not like in, you know, focusing on your little pot. You always look at the global scale of things, and to be ready to travel abroad, to work abroad in tourism is quite normal actually, but still there's quite a bit of difference for living in Brazil and living in the US. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have cultural differences. We do have.
The hard part is really there is no way to really prepare them for it. We can talk about it. We can show a little bit of what we know about the culture, but actually you don't want to prepare them for that, because for my experience, seeing everything in by yourself, you know, like you being there and being able to adapt yourself, it's also good, because you're going to have your questions. You want to ask people. You want to be there. It's not something that you want to take away from them. It's an experience.
Fantastic.
Guys, I'm going to tell you a secret. I've never been to an English-speaking country.
Well, where did you learn your English from? You sound like a...
Here, by myself. I'm a self-taught person.
Luis, you're a self-taught chef. You're a self-taught... No, amazing. Your English is amazing.
Thank you.
Wow. You're an autodidactic. Thank you so much.
Wow.
We're nearing the top of the hour, and we have another session in front of us, which is like very athletic 5-minute presentation style of which is quite exciting, quite lively, quite everything. You're most welcome to stay, but I would also understand if you needed to go. And we thank you so much. I am hungry. I'm hungry now. I'm like dying.
Guys, let's share with them the documents, right? It's going to be on the... It's amazing. You should take a look. Gus did a wonderful job.
You feel ever so sorry for us viewers. I can see that already.
Okay, but thank you very much for this opportunity, because it was very good for us too. We had a great time.
I had a great time with you guys.
Thank you so much. And this documentation that you were on about, can you paste the link again or put it on the program? Would it be possible for you to add the link to it on the program?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
okay.
We want to see that vocabulary. Brigadeiro and Feijão. No, how do you pronounce beans again? Beans in Portuguese was.
I'll let Gus pronounce. Arroz com feijão.
Arroz com...
Arroz.
Arroz
com feijão. Feijão com arroz. Feijão com arroz.
Arroz com feijão and brigadeiro. Thank you. Come on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay home, stay safe.
Lovely.
Goodbye. Thank you, Gus.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.